Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Well, as you can see, the parts of the building have collapsed. The fire has indeed engulfed the vast majority of this compound that has been the
Bonnie,
site.
the entire roof is gone.
The entire roof is gone. Mike, what else can you tell us? Any sign of firefighting equipment? I know.
No, none whatsoever. And there's our shot from, you'll remember, Bonnie, what we refer to as farm cam. That's looking from the north side into the compound. Apparently the north side is not involved yet, but it appears the rest of the compound is filled with that orange fire and acrid black smoke.
Also, within the past 10 days, past week, federal authorities surrounded the compound, very close to the compound, with razor-sharp concertina wire to prevent people from running out. That may, in this case, prove to be hazardous.
Still no sign of anyone.
Never forget, the U.S. government slaughtered dozens in a church over an illegal gun part. 25 years ago, the United States government used accusations of illegal gun parts to raid a church. The resultant raid left 82 men, women, and children dead. By Matt Agorist, March 3, 2018. This week, President Donald Trump betrayed his base and Americans in general as he advocated for confiscating guns with no due process. I like taking the guns early, like in this crazy man's case that just took place in Florida. To go to court would have taken a long time, Trump said at a meeting with lawmakers on school safety and gun violence. Take the guns first, go through due process second, Trump said. This blatant attack on the very thing that makes America great, due process, has been in the making since before the Florida shooting, but Trump appears to be striking while the iron is hot. View image on Twitter. View image on Twitter. Matt Agorist. @MattAgorist. Hashtag due process is not negotiable. 12:56 p.m., March 1, 2018. 11. See Matt Agorist's other tweets. Twitter adds info and privacy. Earlier this week, President Trump told a group of lawmakers that they must do something to keep guns away from mentally ill individuals, even if that means raising the minimum age for rifle ownership to 21 and making all 18 to 20-year-olds who have guns, criminals overnight. He is also going after gun parts as well, the bump stock. When the alleged conservative president hops on the gun control train so easily, it is definitely cause for concern. Here's why. The U.S. government carried out the deadliest church massacre in history, which led to the deaths of 82 men, women, and children. It all came to a violent end 25 years ago in Texas, and it all began with allegations of illegal gun parts. Our source material comes from the FBI's own vault, which contains 2 files on the case against Vernon Howell, also known as David Koresh. Koresh was the leader of the Branch Davidian Seventh-day Adventists. According to the FBI case file, Koresh was believed to have been holding people against their will at his compound in Waco, Texas, potentially guilty of involuntary servitude and slavery charges. In 1992, Child Protective Services, CPS, was called in to investigate the accusations. After a thorough investigation, CPS concluded no one was being held at the compound against their will, nor any child abuse, and the federal prosecutor, who reviewed the report, saw no reason to prosecute Koresh. On October 16, 1992, the FBI closed the case against Koresh and the allegations he was abusing children and holding his followers against their will. Still, however, the FBI proceeded with investigating other allegations. The Branch Davidians had used banned gun parts and converted semi-automatic AR-15, assault, rifles into fully automatic ones, a violation of federal law. Most of the weapons in the compound were all legal. However, during the subsequent trial, it was reported that 48 of them had been modified to be fully automatic. Also alleged was that the group was planning a mass suicide. The FBI concluded, no information has been developed to verify the accuracy of the allegations. Still, the FBI put local law enforcement on notice. Despite having no concrete evidence, Korsh, who some have said was delusional, had violated anyone's civil rights, or abused any children, the investigation into the weapons violations continued. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives pursued the allegations the group was stockpiling weapons and explosives. According to the ATF, the Bureau found 136 firearms, including assault rifles and handguns. 700 plus magazines for those firearms. 200,000 plus rounds of various ammunition. 110 upper and lower receivers for AR-15/M16 rifles. Grenade launcher attachments for AR-15/M16 rifles. 400 plus empty M31 rifle grenades, along with black powder and other explosive chemicals. Wishing to further investigate the compound's armory, the ATF secured a search warrant and attempted to raid the compound on February 28, 1993. The Davidians, possibly feeling they must protect their home, property, and persons from the intruders, opened fire on the federal agents, an action which led to the deaths of several ATF agents and compound members. 4 ATF agents, S.A. Todd McKeehan, S.A. Conway LeBleu, S.A. Robert Williams and S.A. Stephen Willis, were killed, 20 ATF agents wounded from gunshots or shrapnel, and 8 suffered other injuries. 6 Davidians were also reportedly killed and 4 wounded from gunshots, although this could not be forensically proven because of the later destruction, by fire, of the compound. The raid initiated a 51-day standoff with the ATF as well as the FBI. Korsh released 24 members from the compound, who were mostly children, and continued the standoff with authorities, which was broadcast daily across the country until day 51 arrived. On that day, the government brought in heavy equipment and penetrated the compound with a tank-like machine which pumped the compound full of CS gas. What happened next, in the minds of many who saw it, can only be likened to a horror film. The compound became ablaze with a roaring fire. The all-consuming inferno killed 76 people who were huddled inside. Later, it was determined many of those who'd perished were also shot by firearms. Researchers, who later investigated the incident, concluded federal agents were observed shooting from the compound's grounds into the building already set ablaze by fire. While the official government narrative is those individuals committed suicide, the researchers were able to demonstrate they were likely killed by automatic weapons fired by federal agents, possibly killed as they were attempting to flee their burning compound. To this day, the ATF maintains the fire was set by cult members, as law enforcement attempted to force them out by introducing tear gas into the building. And for years, following the fiery destruction of the compound, the FBI maintained the same storyline. However, in 1999, then Attorney General Janet Reno made the following admission: "I am very, very troubled by the information I received this week suggesting that pyrotechnic devices may have been used in the early morning hours on April 19, 1993, at Waco. At this time, all available indications are that the devices were not directed at the main wooden compound, were discharged several hours before the fire started, and were not the cause of the fire. Nonetheless, it is absolutely critical that we do everything humanly possible to learn all the facts as accurately as possible and make them available to the public and Congress. Those facts, according to some of the survivors of the fire, who were inside at the time the fire broke out, are undeniable. They are convinced the government used incendiary devices to set ablaze the tear gas which had been pumped into the building. And they're not alone. According to CBS News, independent filmmaker Michael McNulty came upon some evidence that appeared damaging to the government. He found a shell casing from a certain type of tear gas round that could start a fire, a device the Justice Department had denied using for more than 6 years, publicly and to Congress. That shell casing led to Reno's acknowledgement, but the government still has not taken full responsibility, as Reno denied the devices were used to penetrate the building. Questions still remain as to why they would be used at all. Even though it was later determined Korsh had, indeed, molested children, and was by all intents and purposes a pedophile of the worst kind, the fact remains. The government used gas and allegedly fired on its own people, which either directly or indirectly led to the deaths of 76 people inside a church over suspicion of illegal gun parts. None of the dead were ever given due process, and Americans have learned very little from the handling of this situation. Sadly, there was no outcry, and this incident serves as a brutal reminder of what can happen when the U.S. government makes up its mind to take out those they disagree with.
Of this, and I think in your meeting with governors earlier this week, individually and as a group, we spoke about states taking steps, but the focus is to literally give families and give local law enforcement additional tools if an individual is reported to be a potential danger to themselves or others. Allow due process so that no one's rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons in the possession of that individual.
Or might take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system, because a lot of times by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court to get the due process procedures. I like taking the guns early, like in this in Florida. He had a lot of firearms. They saw everything. To go to court would have taken a long time. So you could do exactly what you're saying, but take the guns first, go through due process second.
County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too, because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is if I got some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head, help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.